You paid for ChatGPT and now it wants to grab your mouse and do your job for you. Sounds great, right up until it clicks the wrong button and books a flight to the wrong city. So here is the actual question. ChatGPT's desktop agent can now take over your screen and click through tasks on its own, but should a normal person actually let it? And that is exactly what we are breaking down in plain English, because ChatGPT desktop agent, how to use is the thing everybody is searching and almost nobody is answering honestly. Here's the short, citable answer so you have it up front. The ChatGPT desktop agent is genuinely useful for one narrow thing: boring, repetitive, templated tasks that look the same every single time. It falls apart the moment a task needs real judgment, context switching, or a decision only a human should make. That is the whole story in one line, but the surface answer is not the interesting part. The interesting part is the catch nobody's telling you this wants to say out loud. By the end, you will know exactly when this thing saves you an afternoon, when it quietly wastes one, and why an older, dumber automation tool often beats it for real office work. Stick around, because the part that actually matters comes near the end and it will change how you decide. Quick think before we get into it. This channel is sponsored by MBC Canada Inc., a bookkeeping firm built for trades and construction businesses. If your books are a mess and you feel blind on your own numbers, that is exactly what they fix, so you can finally see your cash and control it. They put together a free trade bookkeeping scorecard that shows you how much money your business is quietly losing. And the link is the first thing in the description. Go grab it. Now, back to the agent. Let us get clear on what this thing even is, because the marketing makes it sound like a robot employee and it is not. The desktop agent is ChatGPT with hands. Instead of just typing an answer back to you, it can open a browser, move the cursor, click buttons, fill in forms, and read what is on the screen, then take the next step based on what it sees. You give it a goal in plain language, like find 3 suppliers and put their contact details in a spreadsheet, and it tries to actually go do that click by click while you watch. That is the leap. Old ChatGPT could tell you how to do something. This version tries to do the thing, and when it works, it feels a little like magic. Watching it navigate a website and pull exactly what you asked for while you sip your coffee. But here is the first honest note. It is slow. It reads the screen, thinks, moves, checks, thinks again. A task that takes you 30 seconds by hand can take it several minutes because it is being careful and deliberate. For one task, that is a bad trade. For a task you would have to repeat 40 times, that math flips hard. Hold that thought because it is the whole key to when this is worth it. Before we judge it, you need to know how to actually use the thing, because half the confusion is people not knowing where it lives. You run it from the ChatGPT desktop app or the agent mode inside your account, and the exact menu wording shifts as they update it, so do not get stuck hunting for a specific button name. The pattern is always the same. You switch into the agent or task mode, you tell it what you want in a plain sentence, and then you approve it taking control. That permission step matters more than people realize. You are handing a piece of software the ability to click things on your behalf. So the golden rule from minute 1 is simple. Start it on low stakes stuff. Do not point it at your bank, your live invoicing, or anything where a wrong click costs you real money. Let it prove itself on tasks where a mistake is annoying, not expensive, and watch it the first several times. Do not walk away. The whole promise is you get to leave, but you only earn that by watching it enough times to trust what it does with your specific tasks. Trust is built, not toggled on. Now the good news, and I want to be fair here because this thing does have a real sweet spot. The agent shines on templated, repetitive work. Think tasks that look identical every time, with a clear finish line and no real thinking required. Copying a list of names and emails off a directory into a spreadsheet. Pulling the same 5 data points from 20 near identical product pages. Filling one web form over and over with rows from a file. Renaming and sorting a pile of files by a rule you give it. Walk through a real one. Say you need supplier contact info off 30 listing pages. By hand, that is open the page, copy the name, copy the phone, copy the email, paste, next page for 30 rounds of mind-numbing clicking. The agent will grind through all 30 the same way every time without getting bored, without skipping one because it got a text message, without deciding halfway through to check social media. That is the honest win. It does not get tired, it does not cut corners, and it does the 40th row exactly as carefully as the first. Anything that is pure repetition with a clear pattern, this is a genuine time saver. If your week has a chunk of soul-crushing copy-paste in it, this is the tool that can eat that chunk. But here is where it gets interesting, because the same thing that makes it good at boring is exactly what makes it dangerous everywhere else. Let me show you where this falls apart, because this is the part the hype videos skate right past. The agent breaks the moment a task needs judgment, and judgment is hiding in way more office work than people think. The second a task has a fork in it, a moment where a human would pause and go, which one is right here? The agent has to guess, and it guesses with total confidence, which is the worst kind of wrong. Picture it. Booking a meeting. A human sees 2 open slots and knows that 2 o'clock is bad because that is when you always pick up your kid. The agent does not know that. It just picks a slot, or it is filling a form and hits a field it did not expect, and instead of stopping to ask you, it improvises. Now you have a form submitted with a guess in it, and you might not catch it until it matters. Then there is context switching. Real work is messy. You are in a spreadsheet, then you check an email, then you glance at a chat, then back to the spreadsheet, holding the thread in your head the whole time. The agent is not great at that kind of jumping around while keeping the goal straight. You give it a task that spans 3 apps and depends on remembering something from step 1 at step 9, and it starts to wobble. And the failure mode is the scary part. It does not fail loudly. It does not throw up its hands and say, I could not do this. It finishes, hands you something that looks done, and the mistake is buried 3 rows deep where you will not look. A tool that fails silently on the tasks that need the most care is a tool you have to babysit, which quietly kills the whole point. Here is a cost nobody puts on the label, and it changes the math completely. The agent is deliberate, which means slow. For any single task, you are almost always faster doing it yourself. The reason the agent is worth anything is volume, so run the actual math in your head before you use it. How long does one run take the agent versus you? How many times do you need to repeat this exact task? And how likely is it to make a mistake you would have to hunt for? If it is one task, do it yourself every time. If it is a task you do 40 times a month that is truly identical each round, now the slow but tireless robot starts to win because it is grinding through those 40 while you do something that actually needs your brain. That is the real frame. This is not a do-anything assistant. It is a repetition machine with a speed tax, and the tax only pays off at scale. Anyone telling you to fire your whole workflow and hand it to the agent is selling you the dream and ignoring the clock. And here is the reframe that the hype completely ignores. For a lot of real office tasks, the agent is not even competing with a human. It is competing with older, simpler automation that already exists and often loses. Think about the classic automation tools. The ones where you set up a rule once and it fires the same way every time. Move this file when it lands here. Copy new rows from this sheet into that app. Send this reminder when that box gets ticked. These tools are not smart. They do not think. And that is precisely why they are reliable. They do the exact same thing every single run with no creativity and no guessing. The AI agent's superpower is that it can figure out messy, unfamiliar screens on the fly. But for a task that is stable and predictable, that flexibility is a liability, not a feature. You do not want a tool improvising on a job that should run identically every time. You want the boring, rule-based tool that never surprises you. So the honest split is this. If a task is stable and you can write down the exact rule, a simple automation tool usually beats the agent on reliability, speed, and cost. Check the current pricing on any of these because it moves, but rule-based automation is generally cheap and predictable to run. The AI agent earns its keep only when the task is repetitive and yet too messy or too varied for a rigid rule. That narrow overlap is the real use case. Everything else is hype. There is one more thing that decides whether any of this is safe for you, and it is not technical. It is trust. Every task you hand this agent, you are trusting it to click correctly on your behalf without you checking every move. And it fails quietly, remember. So the only safe way to adopt it is a ramp. Start by watching every single click. Then, once it nails the same task a bunch of times, drop to spot checking the result. Only after it has earned it, on that one specific repeated task, do you let it run while you are gone. And never let it cross that trust line onto high-stakes stuff. Money, legal, anything you cannot easily undo. The convenience is never worth a wrong click on something irreversible. The tasks that are safe for the agent are the ones where a mistake costs you a redo, not a disaster. So we have got the full picture now. Real wins on repetition, real breaks on judgment, a speed tax, and an old boring tool that quietly beats it on stable work. That is the honest map. So the only question left is the one that matters to you, which means Before I give you the simple rule to act on, here is the part I actually care about. The honest take on whether a busy person should even bother with this category at all. I'm a big fan of Claude and ChatGPT desktop agent. I would just scrap that, and I would use Claude Code in VS Code. I have like 10 agents going all at once working on different projects. In my personal opinion, skip the desktop apps and go with the coding models with markdown files. This is going to give you a much better scenario, a much better experience. You're going to be able to build a lot more with them. If all else fails, hire someone that is able to use Claude Code. Don't just go ahead and do it yourself as a business owner. Make sure what you're automating as well is going to make you more money. If it doesn't make you more money, don't do it. That's a waste of time. So many owners are working on dashboards right now that aren't actually going to give them more money. For example, I made a sales dashboard that is actually making me more money because it's tracking all the numbers for the sales agents and we're actually using it in production. That is what you need to do. Use AI to make you more money. Not to just build something that no one's going to use. Skip the desktop apps, go straight into the full vibe of coding, building something of value. So here is a rule you can act on today. No fluff. If it is a one-off task, do it yourself. You are faster, full stop. If it is a task you repeat constantly and you can write down the exact rule, reach for a simple rule-based automation tool first, because it is reliable and it will not improvise. And only when a task is both repetitive and too messy for a rigid rule does a ChatGPT desktop agent become the right pick. That is a narrow lane where it genuinely earns its spot. And whatever you do, start it small, watch it, and never hand it anything you cannot afford to see done wrong. This is a powerful assistant for boring work, not a replacement for your judgment. Treat it that way, and it will save you real hours. Treat it like a magic employee, and it will burn you on the one task where it mattered. That is the real honest review. Not it changes everything, not it is useless, but here is the exact shape of when it helps. If this saved you from overtrusting it or from ignoring something genuinely useful, subscribe. Because I break down these AI tools in plain English so you do not have to gamble your time at figuring out which ones are real. And drop me a comment with the tool you want me to pull apart next. And thanks again to NBC Canada Inc. for backing this one. If your trades or construction books are a mess, grab their free bookkeeping scorecard at the link below and find out how much money your business is quietly losing. See you in the next one.